Okay, so the form that we're going to be dealing with here is vertex form, okay? So remember, let's just go ahead and refresh our memory for a second. What exactly is vertex form? Okay, and vertex form is y equals a times x minus h squared plus k. Okay? Now, believe it or not, and remember, h and k represented what? That represented our vertex. That's why we put this in vertex form. Okay? And believe it or not, this h and this k are going to dictate which kind of movements that we have. Okay, so like I told you from the beginning, we have 4, left, right, up, and down. Okay, so let me show you when you would have each one of them. All right? So I want you to take a look at this equation here. Okay, so I have y equals a times x plus h squared plus k. Okay, now you know that you will have a left movement if the inside here is a plus. Okay, you could sort of think of it as opposites, if you will. For example, if you had a positive 3 in here, well, you're not going to go normally to the right where positive numbers would go. You're going to always do the opposite. So instead of going this plus 3 or plus h, you're going to go left. Okay, so for example here, if you have the following, and I'm just going to make up something here, a times x minus 2 squared plus k. So I'm just putting in this number right here. What does that negative 2 in there tell you you're going to do? How are you going to move? Oops, sorry, plus 2. Okay, this is going to tell me that I'm going to move to the left 2 units. Because again, we're kind of thinking of it in terms of opposites here. So plus 2 normally is to the right, but think opposite. So instead of going right, we're going to go left. Okay, if I have y equals a times x plus 5 squared plus k. So again, I see positive 5. Okay, normally, yes, you would move to the right 5, but we're thinking opposite here. So we're going to go left 5 units. Okay? So what do you think would happen then for a right movement if you wanted to move to the right? Well, instead of it being a plus sign, it's now just going to be a minus sign. Because if you think about it, it makes sense with our opposite way that we're kind of talking here. So let's just assume for a moment if there was a negative 3 in here. So x minus 3 squared plus k. So normally our mind is equipped to think, okay, negative 3, we're going to move to the left 3, because that's where the negatives are. However, we're not moving that way. We're going to move to the right. Remember, it's always the opposite. So this really tells me that I'm moving right 3 units. Okay? If I gave you y equals a times x minus 7 squared plus k. So again, what does this mean in here? Right, you're going to move to the right 7 units. Okay? So that takes care. So the inside part, this part in parentheses here, dictates left and right movements. If there's a minus sign in there, you're going to move to the right. If there is a positive sign in here, you're going to move to the left. So again, parentheses is left and right movement. Okay? So which one of these numbers do you think dictates up and down movement? Okay, and it's this one right here. It's the k. So how do I know if I'm going to move up? Okay, well, it's just you're going to read whatever k is. K is what tells you, this outside number tells you how much you're going to go up and down. And the best part about the up and down movement is you don't have to take any opposites. It is what it is. So if I gave you y equals a times x plus h squared plus 5, well, since this is positive, the outside number here, I'm going to go up 5 units. Okay? If I gave you y equals a times x plus h squared plus 3, okay, well, plus 3 means I'm going to go up 3 units. Okay? And it doesn't matter whatever number you put on the outside. So, are you still with me here? Let me just recap everything so far. Again, parentheses, left and right. This k, this outside number here, is up and down. So what if k was negative? So well, that's our last direction. This is going to dictate that we are going to go down. Okay? So if I had y equals a times x minus h squared minus 3, this is going to tell us that we are going to go down 3 units. Okay? If you had y equals a times x minus h squared minus 8, this is going to tell me that I'm going to go down 8 units. Okay? So now, what I'm going to do here is, and you may be thinking to yourself also, what does this a do? Well, in this class, you're actually not going to talk about the a. You'll get to that later on. This, I'm only supposed to talk about left and right, up and down movements. So don't worry, your curiosity will be satisfied, I promise. Okay? So now I'm going to give you just a few general equations here before we start graphing, and just to see, can you tell me which direction the graph is going to be moving in? Okay? So, for example, if you had the following, y equals, let's just say x minus 3 squared plus 4. Okay? And I want you to tell me, how is the graph going to be moving? Okay? And again, we'll cover the graphing in a few moments. I just want to make sure that you understand the rules. So this negative 3 inside parentheses tells me I should do what? Okay? Well, because it's a negative 3, remember, this is the one where you have to think opposite. And remember, this controls left and right. So negative 3 is normally left, but we're going to go right. So this tells me I should go right 3. And what does that 4 tell me I should do? Up 4. Okay? Remember, opposites for parentheses, and this one, it just stays the same. Okay, so if you have this, y equals x plus 4 squared minus 7. Okay, so what does this positive 4 tell me I should do? How am I going to be moving? Okay, well, plus 4 refers to, instead of 4, you would think to the right. However, we should be thinking to the left. So this is left 4 units. And then what does this negative 7 mean to do? Down, that's right, down 7 units. Okay? So hopefully you got the idea of this. And now we're actually going to start graphing. Okay? So, what did I say the most basic of the basic was for a quadratic? Okay, well, I said it was x squared. So I have x squared already graphed for us here. Okay. This is the graph that makes it. 5 points here. The 0, 0, 1, 1, 2, 4, negative 1, 1, and negative 2, 4. Okay, this is x squared. So the question is going to be, what if I gave you, and I altered this x squared equation just a little bit so we can see its movements? Okay, so for example, if I asked you to graph the following. So graph, let's see, parentheses, x minus 2 squared. Can you sort of see that this x minus 2 to the second power is the same, it's sort of similar to this x squared? There's just some extra stuff here where the x is. That's why x squared is the parent function, because all I would have to do is just put some numbers in with this x squared, and it would still be the same function, except it's going to be moved a little bit. Okay? So, to graph this, you're going to first graph your parent function, which I already have done for us with those 5 points. And now what's going to happen to each one of these 5 points according to this new equation right here? If it's a negative 2 here, how are my points going to move? Remember, parentheses means to think opposite, left and right. So instead of going left 2, you're going to move right 2. So all of your points now, you're going to shift them to the right 2 units. And I'll just start up here and work my way through the parabola. So let's start with this one right here. Move it to the right 2, 1, 2. This one, 1, 2. Okay, that one lies on top of that. The origin, 1, 2. This one, 1, 2. And then this point, 1, 2. Okay, then you play your connect the dots. And you can clearly see the two graphs now. The purple, remember, that's what we started with. Okay? And then what happened? They all moved 2 units to the right. All right? And then look, this point right here, just in case if you're worried about that, that's okay. I mean, sometimes the points are going to overlap. But this black graph that I have here is y equals parentheses x minus 2 squared. Okay? So let's try another one. All right. So if I said to graph x plus 3 squared minus 1. Whoops, and my graph has seemed to go away here. Give me a second. Okay, so what's going to happen to all these points now? So according to this plus 3 here, what's going to happen? Okay, it's going to move to the left 3 units. And why is it left 3 units? Because it's always the opposite. Plus 3, we normally think of that as to the right. Think opposite, left 3. What does this minus 1 tell me I should do? Go down 1 unit. Okay? So you're going to do it, though, in this order. You're going to go left, and then you're going to go down. And I'm going to do that for each point here and see what happened with our graph. Okay, so let's start with the left 3 units. So I'll use green here. So we're going to move them all to the left 3 and then go down 1. So here we go. 1, 2, 3, down 1. Okay, that takes care of that one. This one, over 3. 1, 2, 3, down 1. Okay, this one, 1, 2, 3, down 1. Okay, this one right here, 1, 2, 3, down 1. And then this point right here, 1, 2, 3, down 1. So this is where our quadratic has ended up. Okay? This tells me it has been shifted over 3 units, and it's all been shifted down 1 unit. Now, here's a question that we've covered. What's the vertex of this green parabola that we have here? Well, I see it as -3, -1. Okay, look at your equation here. Okay, in previous lessons, you were taught how to take out and look at this and gather what the vertex was. Remember, it's the opposite of this number, which was -3, and then you just take this number, -1. So automatically you know that you've done it right then if the vertex matches up. Okay, let's do another one. Sorry about this. Okay, so there's that. All right, so the next one I want to do is x squared minus 6. Now notice again that it has been altered. I'm throwing in a -6 here. Okay, is there any left or right movement here? No, because I don't see parentheses. I don't see it being controlled inside the parentheses. Remember, that's when you always take the opposite. But I do see a -6. So what's going to happen to this quadratic? Okay, it's going to shift down 6 units. Okay, and so again, you just take each point at a time and move each one down 6 units. So I'll start from this one. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. This one, 3, 4, 5, 6. The origin. 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and this one 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, so there it is. Again, the idea here on how the graph is moving. Remember, again, I feel like I sound like a broken record here. However, if it's in parentheses, left and right, think opposite. If there's a number on the outside, just do what it tells you to do. So I'm going to give you guys 2 problems to try and see if you can figure out the correct transformation, okay? So stay tuned.